The regional minister and her team are insisting say omunye second round voting immediately. Which is against the law, which allows at least 10 days interval.
No, it depends on the unyaye.
Intermeba. In the yes, 11, no, you 10. In the clearly, no. Omunti means sign to second round the end. Because no, you 10, the answer Kwana Swanshe. Ain't it? Almost how come you cry? You can't remember. He said, no, about the year 18. I was a president, son of cry. Tension at Ablikuma North, giddy cry. We are hearing, say, other century, yeah, Munti
confirm, but quite. Drobons ya confirm problem ni say.
But Matisa Blekuma North there. All the assembly members now have been locked inside. Some boy are locked here. Some say monto yesterday na mon shade dem. Was are locked here. Most some adwin we are. Force imprisonment. Where need that be Obi? Oh, Tobo Mamin can report. Assembly members have been locked inside. Force imprisonment. 150. They are for their own safety. Massa, I can't say. Communist tactics. Why for their own safety? There's chaos and tension. The one has a tension. Because some numbers now. Yes, you're 11. No, you're 10. For your own safety. If you can see, sir, the assembly itself, they split down the middle in terms of MP before the NDC. That is the point. It's a 10, 11. They're out to them. Aha. Yes, you're 10. No. Yes, you're 11. No, you're 10. Once they are split along the MP NDC lines, but you see, check you appointees in here. Appointees appointees should be found. So we do 21. Yeah, that means appointees. So an appointees is just 30%. Yes, of the total number. Ana Obi, the entire American MP are 7 even though now in terms of governance, now also from the legal point of view, no. I was talking in terms of proper governance. Okay. Just a bit of information. Okay. Obi, the MPP have 8 assembly members there. So 3 NDC assembly members supported the NPP members. No, not they elected. It's not like they supported the MPP. They voted against the president's nominee. Okay, Obi, there is no issues. Obi, the channel make us any. I am speaking. I'm speaking from experience. Say, our district and our municipality. Yes. Our member of parliament or what? Say, Jumari, do on yeah. Underground, especially when it's split along down the middle. Or no MP no. I'm also be respecting no. Yeah. And especially when tension wa Blekuma already any member of parliament. So whoever is aligned to the MPB that's okay. And this is an opportunity for them to also show you their true colors. But the MP wa and microphone. We need development because of the tension between the MPs now. No crime Swintino. Say MP no hokra. Yeah, the command this year. MP no. Yeah, the command MPP yeah. NDC for the super. NDC Zuba. It's difficult. So Zuba NDC appointee. Yes. Zuba. Greater Kumasi, proper Kumasi na, and mayor. Oh, we. NDC seats be no home. No, NDC seats be no home. NDC seat be. MPP seat in the MPs. Assassins in a different. Yes, assassins another municipal. So you mean KM, you know? Yes. And your MPs in Kwa. Eban say a choice, but you mean 98%. Proper governance. That is what happens. Me confirmation twice in now. Even NDC for and the known NDC, they all voted for me because my MP came in, spoke with them. The second one quite because I'm no Matsana. First one, but I'm no Montana. But even so, the second one because I'm no Matsano. Even when I'm out for be and I say the NDC for the woman and the teaching as a be chief and natural. The why you no catches and they led the charge. And the MP Juma there to me and taking it away. Sir, at this time, I think they need an MP, an MP figure. But obi the information be brave. Total assembly members 21.
Okay.
Wow.
Appointees 7. Elected members 21. Me breaking it down.
Okay.
Yes, 21. In the appointees 7. Elected assembly members 14. Elected assembly members are 14.
There's a 4 penalty. 7
Yes.
That is even if
It could be normally appointees in time and it's easy to whip
them in line.
But the elected
almost say out of the elected assembly members, no, split down MPP 7, NDC 7 for the 14.
No, but it means
a lot of people have issues with
No, the body, you know, I also didn't come on.
the MPP for Nanko.
just simple.
Just. Oh no, but who's a
when I say absentee credit me.
Also, Borga, the coin with a Tangana.
See, I didn't say be absentee credit. A number present and vote.
Yeah,
into be to me see.
Oh, it's your call to be financial.
Unless they kill us.
Hey, but Matisse Uko Suhuma, the MC in 100% endorsement.
Also, MP Suhum. No, also MP.
Yes, a proposal.
The MP's relationship with the people.
Yes.
I'm sure, sir. And you are no more
Munifienyo.
Idea say 1 to 1 money per cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, I wouldn't say, I'm told, sir, the MC nominee, no, is the organizer for the constituency.
No issues.
Who is called Kalemu, and he's the
one leading for the MPO.
Ose.
Also, Nana lead the MP in charge.
Yeah, in the charge.
And you what dear, and you say, and you know, and you what dear, so bad, but we MP,
Master Odia,
requires external intervention.
Like he said, 10-11. And yes, Anka outright rejection.
Why 50%?
Oh, me a mistake.
I think of external intervention.
At least some 10 days, Bimbra.
Yeah, now I'm
underground way.
Who went to MP? Now, that was your MC. He said, no one was a back. Oh, boy, no 9, no 10. No 9, no 10. Yeah, they are bomb.
Obi, who's a NDC for I don't know. Members present and vote.
I don't want to know the show with you.
Just about me, I try to be a Obi,
Baba, and also no.
What does it mean, Carrie?
where's also another is mutual.
Oh, men Carrie.
Because they were long, liver blades near idea who you know. Crash.
And why the lucky yeah, some formation because
2 years and there.
No, me 2 years.
Only problem in the
Yes,
you will be forced to vote.
Promise me.
Ebi a promise nso omokoma yeso omo
Ofuase Ayerabi
Kojo Oponkroma.
Yes, at Chemansa district. Ehonso Honorable Linda Ahinkra onya 100%. Kojo 100% endorsement.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, con. Yes. Let's see.
We are not in power.
Yes.
But I need to work with him.
Of course.
I'm sure the president speaks sense into
Anthony Nukpenu onyeno
sorry, when I'm there's
Tetechai?
No, Bakuno. Oh, he bears the same name as former chairman Pina with Agushi. He
is on a board, on one of the boards.
No, we should protect this organizer at all costs.
But you should also protect the MP at all costs.
There's no MP.
There's no MCU too. MP Suba no so beti
IGP has written to the EC
said they should go and
provide security.
Yes.
So what
until you don't provide it, you two MPD anyway, you can't MPD anyway, you have two mama.
MP never
Mama, anyway, it's okay. 21 minutes after 5, Ekosiisen in Higher Sempai FM, into Ebeshana Yatwaso, into Uko Achimansa district, the DC, you know, will be in the picture, send me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very
Linda.
Nice looking lady. Honorable Linda Ahinkura. Yes, into when you 100% endorsement, Achimansa district. Into congratulations to you. Yes, woman, 100. Okay, into Agbesinu Chu board there, Ghana Water Company Limited. He is on the Ghana Water Company Limited board. Yes. Inti Agbesinu, good evening to you wherever you are. Go out there and make yourself proud and make
yourself available. Not only.
Inti Yemra bag na for Yemra medi enkomo and I think I would leave the way to you. Any of the topics are wow person wo fa no na yetiu edi kan me mamu nyina akwaba me share that man akwaba honorable Donko Fuseini Donko Fuseini Marintio yeah honorable Donko Fuseini it your friend Drobonso JM yeah udu Drobonso be a friend John Mahama waji di papa is it also yeah John Mahama so amano a very big position. Oh, Deputy Director General in charge of operations for National Service Authority. In charge of operations.
So you be sure Abel Kumanov.
Oh, Black Wabana, it's a say, we are fantastic. National Service Boko.
Oh, and then Unyaba Ruth de la Sedo.
Yes, Ruth Sedo.
And then I would dinner Oda Kama.
Oh, okay.
Now, dear, I couldn't have a gen office honeno. Hey, with the Midanyamias said me refu. Oh, yes, I dare committee. And then so code of conduct is a mamunya parties. I can see. It's a bad cameras in your. A private person. It was so beautiful.
Very clear on the mood and form you should take
of the party.
Oh, no, it wasn't a party. It was a surprise.
That code of conduct. It should not be ostentatious.
How do you determine
that? Has not been determined. And you should have
you profligate expenses in
one office.
Anyway, in law, reasonability in law. It should be reasonable man.
It's a nebulous construct.
It is not.
It is.
It is not.
What
compound
Mama, me which birthday?
No, in the free office. I think about
and a happy birthday, Ruth said, happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's National Deputy Youth Organizer.
And then also the
Deputy
Director General
Finance and Administration.
Only gift your kunya so. So kunya them some reserve by Emma. Also hopes in the so. And our hopes in the Debbie, they say Nanabi ne Osomoba.
Oh, okay. I want to know you come.
That's service that I come so. Near my transformer. Will be Nankoko no metobi.
Mostly no horse idea transformation looks clear. Free one will be take you over no show near my man who say, hey, dear Moya or no. You want to say the Yamiadum. Eh, Nkoko yere and say 10,000 cry, Yasha cry to your bond don't come cry. It is
we are selling our two. No, we didn't meet somebody. We've been able to take custody of some and we've been able to raise them now. We are selling how?
In 4 months, and which we are
mobile 50 Is it
broilers? Not just
they are now 2 kilograms. Yes, we are selling.
And I'm mobile in 4 months here.
Men are making Oh yes, that's broilers. Broilers for you. Broilers within 8 weeks you can sell broilers.
Within they are not organic.
Now come here, 8
weeks there.
By 8 weeks, 4 best your friends 16 weeks per 6 weeks then I just want
to Friday be ana mosumudi bia kofia ko chamonum kakamba.
Yeah, no, but you see, Mastercard Foundation project nobody a national service area. Unfortunately for us, and Kokoni Bedri and na Sierra and Crawford is Omunin Kukubu. Okay. Omunin Kukubu, I didn't cook on the private people. Okay. Into young Kuko almost 300,000 beds our private poultry farmers hall.
And the people are selling them.
They are selling them.
And they are keeping them for you.
They are keeping them on our behalf. And they are selling them, claiming they are using the money to reinvest into the business. Running the cycle. Yeah, buy another cycle. But I see the yeah, be boy and kukubu ni bi. Inti yetimia bo kukubu na first 10,000 na ba. You raise your my year ton almost the same. Yes, we are expanding now. We'll be able to take custody of another 100,000.
So that's how you do it. Okay.
Yes,
it's not the 300,000 out and no mobile.
Once all our pens are ready, we'll take all of them back.
It is your maton
according to them, reinvesting into the program.
Okay. Okay.
OB farms. 100,000. They expect over 100,000.
Yes.
Regardless, what talk we are doing.
At least give us back.
My bed.
Okay. Yeah, ready. Omunube provide the
no, it's a good thing. Vincent start.
I said all canon. That's all I am. I said we are fair DB.
Now one fair you end day.
No.
He has a point. You see, my private person now. On your profit, I say all private people come and be.
That is the point.
They chose people and give it to them.
So
they are not accounting to.
But I said you know, no, I understand.
And that was the idea.
If you gave a private person 300,000 beds,
yes,
when your pens are ready,
yes,
no, record this. I said
what about 300,000 building pens? So the S1 administration, they are no intention.
Yes, you're building.
Yes. And if you see, I'm say, yeah, I'm 300,000 beds.
Yes.
The S1 administration.
Yes.
My real pen, I am to provide your 300,000.
But then the 2, 3, 4 cycles now are toning. Nothing comes to us. Or tone is or more brand of fufru.
And it's not the same. But eventually, 300,000 beds. I want to know the whole quarter.
The autumn or the other.
Now, they walk away. So, abuse. Only pens.
No, only pens.
The point
is, if I gave you 300,000 beds,
yes,
you are expecting
within the period, no,
yes,
what will be invested with the business?
Yes.
Maybe the NSA. Once my pen are ready, give me my
300,000 profit.
But that's not the only pens.
That is the point.
No,
that was the point.
The idea
was to employ the national service workers and then make profit in the process and then establish the youth.
When Vincent was the director, Ono did this idea of farming.
The microphone is down.
Ono started this idea of farming.
Yes.
In fact, Omo producing now at the point they were supplying to school feeding program and all that.
Yes.
The idea is not just to employ the service personnel to work on the farms, but to also make money in the process.
And set them up.
They don't have any IGF.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is here? They rely heavily on budgetary allocations. And I think these were innovative ideas. As you engage personnel also, now we generate internal revenue kakra. So my question, and I'm sure that's what
you said training or more. The poultry farms are supposed to be demonstration farm for the trainees, for the NSS. Inti oyano do baby no or SCT and near man capital no so set it up.
Okay.
That was the idea. It's a private for that particular setup is out.
They couldn't
go pure business.
Yes.
I also got names in new entity. I'm sure that's why people were not interested.
Very well. Very well.
But aside that, Obi, they say we are revamping all our farms. Closing. Kumawu ya started at least Kumawu this season. You perceive ya 4,000 acres there.
That's huge.
4,000 acres of what?
Maize.
Okay.
Maize.
100 acres of tomatoes and so on. And 500 acres of rice. Wow. And I so you normal we and Sassanam out of 1,000 like 200 pay.
Oh.
So we've taken the 200 back, we've plowed it. Minoka say
and
maize don't crunk quanta or Nkranza side also 300 acres of maize. And Midarata General Sama Meko Okuja 2 constituency ho also so try say benya another 3,000 acres ho And they
some farms are more the personnel living the Koguso.
Yes, we get personnel and then volunteers as well. And it's now
more volunteer program.
Now he doesn't want just volunteers. All Greek graduates are wolf if you mopo omunina up. So all colleges of Greek, any Greek graduates are wolf National Service is taking them on board
as employees,
as volunteers for now.
Okay.
Then volunteers. Baby, you see, volunteers they should be accountable.
And they are paying the same stipend.
No more.
No, they are paying the same unless or your business be a man commission.
But can you know, I think they were paid more than.
No, it depends. Nipa no fan or only doing privately that he can decide to pay more. So no, the danger was in the private national service personnel. No, private. No, that is where you can easily do the ghost name.
Okay.
Because the mainstream one, the school in the day index number ne bro. It won't mean obi generating index number.
NSPs no. Those volunteers are supposed to be involved in service. When you and wants to be engaged.
Yes.
And America no. When I names no chebi gumsa.
And like I said, with the system now, with the payroll audit now, no, won't mean say easy side you.
No.
Oh no, we don't develop. Finance Ministry checks everything now.
But Finance Ministry checks the one.
Oh, no, because send any person who did money. But say no. You can't do it now because measures are there.
Well, we'll be watching closely because these are issues that bother.
Well, for me, like I said, no, it is not a name you want to leave for yourself because M1 will be. It's something that can easily be traced.
But what do you say, Obi? We need to check. National Service, any Ministry of Youth and Sports.
I don't say
they say a common demon.
Which is
sad demon or Tasha Kambu Yellow. Anybody who goes there doesn't live in peace. Obekonuna, there are allegations and commission of acts of corruption and related offences. Before MPP came into office, the Director General, what is it? Before him, there was a similar incident. What is it? It's the same thing. The question is, what
the systems then are not foolproof.
Anybody who handles money, anybody who handles money on a daily, there's always a temptation to want to touch the money.
It's true.
What is it? And they are dealing with huge numbers.
Try say you better diversify. If you look at our approach now, we are trying to venture more into the agribusiness because that is IGF. And no, it's not coming. Yes. As we are creating the employment, we are creating IGF, which Public Accounts Committee will not come and disturb you.
No, but you still deploy people.
No. Yes, the deployment. You see, and I say deployment. If you don't have IGF, if you don't have any business running, that is why you worry yourself with deployment scams. So, if we say 8,000, 10,000. Every 200 acres be about 4,000 bags of maize and now 5,000 bags. Now see 4,000. I imagine into 100,000 bags of maize. Yes, your warehouse is kama. Now see Togo na Ghana for mudum yanamu betomaya. Edianku. Yanku say apart from Papa Oko Jimpa, Oko Street said Oko Hachuna, goodness energy next hope. Don't call me 80 cities. And Kokono. Fresh 80 cities.
Obia Timikotobi.
That's a free advert.
Abrofun koko dey yes, but
and then broiler
o say the lay egg na more than kakra. The emre no mo dey fried chicken, fried when you know
and we stew and egg.
Okay.
O dey light soup be home.
No mokum na
The you couldn't address him out there 100 cedis. But life one hour go
80 cedis.
80 cedis.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like the
price on the market.
Oh, more to come. Sometimes 2 kilograms. Yes. You were in so
that ammonia discounted price. Or say the same thing as the price in the market.
Maybe 160 no 150.
Ko Amazon market
150.
Obi pasho enkoko nkete asema ye mami misa
you guinea fowl so
the two come kina na bade ane mami misa minia
issues ni munya na
na issues ane kan o
into the we
ma be so bisa say Mastercard program no e shase brebe yi
so wa je to say na wo ho dada
yeah hard say me be period ben
it started I think about 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Na time and Kokono HRC say about the Mastercard no a charity organization.
Yes.
Sansa we me DH kakra.
Okay.
It's now okay na me so me so we so me DH. A charity organization.
That's true.
And they are into business for profits.
Yes.
And she said
with us it is like a grant.
It's a grant. They do grants.
Regardless.
Mami mbo kakra no kura woman say if you are signing your counterpart contribution is say ye den kokone ba by the time kokone be ba na wo kokobu we said we were ready it na nka mo de 300,000 neighbor ebedru wie ye na ne ka chom so oh sorry kokobu ni nya ready otinya sesebi ye ne nim say kokko ba na dabi it was deliberate.
Okay. It means that ye the ama private businessmen mo didi ho kama.
Yes. Omoda so didi hon kura
300,000 ebi wo mu
aba
no that's a lot
very well enti ma yemra honorable Kwame Opoku CID Esquire Mami Shasi mfiri any of the issues I was offered him come on
na issues be issues asem your die na issues no dosun say issues no dosun
say the open so when issues there start with the one you want to start with.
Okay, but
I don't want to
for Bible ne be Galatians 6 verse 7 mami. Ubi no na aye say unim na no do safo GFA esco member. Ay. O correct man na.
Oh yeah.
Musho no onfe nia. Obi safo sabe wa hye ne che no o che bi o na bia me say so the name hye.
Was it Galatians saying
6:7?
And Galatians 6:7 may kind the New Living Translation or say don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant.
And no chance kukia says a buffer okay. No car Bible sorry them so can say this is the word of God.
This is the word of God.
Yeah, sure. Thanks be to God.
Sure.
Neka amen so.
Amen.
Can be carry you and come sorry ko.
Sorry ko.
Me say nka was say me sorry ko.
Yeah.
Nti me but me sorry.
Okay.
If you say don't go for say it here. Me sorry a obey mischief. Obi.
Yes.
There na see. Before can say me say there na see wo se chejamase. Ama tumpaya na ni eburu pam say unya a subscribe to be a public officer ye di niema eni bebre na hwe ba obi ene me ba na mitie say ya ade am ba na oguso kasanka biam de hodiu
me kwakwate
ba do wo ya papa kwakwate say finance minister
me fie tell
dabi o se bosu ani enimo kwakwate obi o tebe ka say ayono kwakwate no no Philip o se bosu obi of Asempa.
Yes.
And then me do wo ya papa then tell me say me do wo ya bisa na me nche omu
me pa cho me
bisa say
and say
wo di ni ho ya na
then tell me kasa ni say obi unya be ye public officer.
Yes.
Lifestyle bi wa if it be lifestyle audit. Lifestyle bi wa na oye ne kanen ko na untumi nye. You are very careful. If you say nka private settings muna wo ya wa dia obi amfa wo. You can do whatever you want in your private capacity obi amfa wo. Ayi opanyi bi di ni 40th birthday okoma. Hey money swine. Where we be? ni ama young man no oh sika na obi don ko fu say ni ti hey ne president abana amana appointment I no operations executive editing national service o man ti anya posts kwa ma 10 for mu so mu pomabo mu ya ne beba ho o mu pomabo wo be nyo tete na in his private capacity e be onye ayi public ayi minini hia ba bebre otimi to enam to ade anye nkofo che obi anka wasem but ask him if he can do same today and the answer will be no. And you know why? Because they say no. While assuming a public role, a public responsibility, you are no longer the private person. Don't go for saying. And you never be able to be many help. I dare community me. I have found what do to me young found. And I'm talking to my own brother Sammy Gyamfi. No.
Empuni.
Sammy just medical Gyamfi. No. Onim. Adia Benina no. Bonibeka say he has brought it upon himself. On one day good also. If we say, it may be a choma or a private person, as a member of the NDC and their communications officer, people are measuring him with the worst. Because in the past, so be politician be no Ben with that time. Be or party be not to be quacho be. The perception was created, say, well, we are bicycle or day. When we were in office, and maybe when you perceive you need to be. I shared an experience with you, maybe a chum. I told you, me too kind. Niko who will be a and Kabia of a crown and Kabia Nanka, mean some crow will be channel, but they are not telling me around the Cotano. Now you said the move. Attachment to me because of lifestyle audits. The question would be, say, all of a sudden, a DNT. And then they were producing the dear Juma Kwana, yeah, we are says canon money yet. So those same questions were legitimate then, and they are still legitimate now. Don't quote here, I mean, you tick. Satik, yeah, many of us and Cabayo, you know, oh, my enemy by me, okay, the person. In the past, in Sambia or Kaya, in Sambia or Kaya, and I'm Baba Yasem, and can Yasem. Because if you measured someone
as Semper FM
with real beer, say, who to me, a Jessica say, who to me, yes, say, who was a Cassay, in your custody, the others or your comfort, yeah. Then my question is, what happens, or what conclusion should we draw now? In your case, and people say, "What you ain't clear to?"
No be ankase kawanutu. No be ankase kawanutu.
Please, Obi, you too young hopeful. Young politicians, young come quenching in your nom. Sanya wa and just said, "You're young, no, you're comfort." Let's tell people the truth, so that in future, you find the same barometer and find a measure will be. Oman can say at his age 50 years and 20 minutes talk out and people are measuring him and you think that I don't know quite some time lawyer and lawyer ni because a case I will be brave on crown yeska case I will be brave sleepless night and look on your capre but could be timber torn now so obi onya o she bofum ye nupa bi kwakoya arbitration ketua bi bo say Sikana pie near the amount. What are you saying? What are you saying?
Lawyer for some connection, man.
But because in the past, you have really found Kofua can some gun Kofua who fee. I can somewhere and you no cranny, the no question. I'm not bear no crack.
As Semper FM.
So we are politicians here, we until all of a sudden, Obana who could chick out a sequence where we are. Ayasama okay. And we are measuring you with that. It's about time. Yay, Mabune war politics muno. Your man who say it is not always the case. And yet the Biana. And yes, I will be a Korean. But say name betrana because a son say when you say dollars no exchange we are. Ocha me so me ko be 2 cedis a. And obi e ma ma program we ma man from Magiska well. Unim Dominic Tamu bi da.
Oh yeah. E we nim ha.
Dominic Tamu bi da.
Me kind.
What I say?
Yeah.
But it me channel. Say me betrana ka say e krono a. Say me ko channel bi cho be ka say krono. Mako yeska. And routine and watching and no. I think it's just an eye opener for him. It's a lesson for him to learn something from it. Because you may never know.
KJB.
Ochira unim. Adibu okwa oh yeah with good hearts. But we never be aware in the past, you know. Na ba be wie bone. Why? Obi adai. Say Sicilian pa na we be Sicilian pa Ghana for so be can say Bank of Ghana for be say be announce some dollars ayana. And you be can one sem no. But Sicilian pa some kind. We said it here. But Bank of Ghana me can say $1 dollars be here. But Sicilian pa yan people need you know. In Yama from be kan must we politicize everything. I wish and hope it never happened that way. But this is where we are. But there's always a turning point. And I think that this is the point. Also, Miniano. Utimi Saka on Yamabi. Because whether we like it or not, Minimum and a Donko and a Atik, we are the future of this country. Including you. Because you're in your 40s, 70s, 60s. They will live before us. And so we yes abeke kai ho ade anya no nya ni aka obi ameka de yan so no ni aka. Let's be objective. I will not sit here and say because obey intino akobo krono no wanya sika no no do that. Me yeah. But as I say and say onu so ye obibi and he did it in the past. Until na asa akoye say okay then asa ni ehwe ni bi ohwe ni huye because I say onu an fie no ni fie ho no ensem ho ya bo bi be kawa
no
ufrantoma
na bo we na gano
onu asa na say nemai na da bia o cheska bi na mo bi
ntini fie fo na ka zo nkwe
when I say the fie for I'm using the fie for literally.
No, I guess nobody actually set him up to do that. From
the information that we are getting, the kind of emails, the people calling,
following the video leakage, you know.
Oh, just say what's the kind of comments.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
so it should tell you that even within, how much more without, and we all know as politicians.
My press conference.
Oma, ya antase ni omo ete ye yinna. We know. We know about so kwa, but na nyama wom. Obenya na nka bia o dia be no John na gina o wanya nyina ntia ne ya managing your maye apology my reading a letter be ni ade I will advise he comes out openly obia me one-on-one be obetimi administer I get it.
So he's done that in the apology.
Oh no I get it.
The
letter.
Obi
it was a Facebook post.
Obi yes say
so you read it.
Yeah.
Obi yes say nipa nim to say Krochi Amansa. In the write-up you may not be able to even explain explain yourself as you would.
CID chief of staff best ceremony.
Oh.
What's
the outcome of the meeting?
The ceremony in Kekekura is you.
And also article 146.
The meeting was just yesterday.
And no public no communication.
No, for now, no.
I said some of the disciplinary measures are we say behind the cameras.
No, you should not.
Obet make you was him internally. A bit maybe like can be reprimanded. Everything is part.
So how would we know? You see, this was meant to serve.
You can also
public.
be queried.
What the idea of bringing out our code of ethics? Yeah, but it's for the public to have some confidence in. No. Have you read the code of?
No, Umbrichi.
When the casa next?
Asama. You see, Asamia, okay.
Yes.
Oh, Bayama, Yasabe, Chimba, you know,
yes, them become a case. They say, dear, the
but honorable Donko Fuseni.
Nice one. No, we have one. No, Jessica Chen.
Assemble.
Jessica Chen.
Na
oh, Toby, you ever say, you're ready. Ne letter no chief of staff a friend no e be fair meaning say there will be opportunity ababanka and when you are on opportunity ba nke beboa no woni na di nkomo no a cheche ni mam kakra na Ghana for so tunufu kakra meaning say dia akoi yesi ni mo we antumi wa
etete won toma
me de manosi
me da say incoming youth organizer for the national youth organizer for the Kwame Opoku CID and Martin and Kano
the diabolic one.
It's a very no me banya botre the Atik, what do you want to say about this? Na me mfa honorable Fuseni enwie
idiot. I've read the Code of Ethics, and just for the reasons of reminding myself, saying I was just going through it again. With the mean kind of be
yes.
Sometimes we exercise lapse in judgment.
Yes.
I mean, that happens to me too, yeah. But you see, I understand the entire assembly come kakra. Come the boys. And we should be the loudest on this particular issue. Internal,
internal people.
They feel say when you win an election on the basis of a certain goodwill, you can easily nibble away that goodwill by your actions. In terms of Ebimu genuinely are worried because of that. Ebimu who have other reasons why they are up in arms and all that. The optics don't look good. The optics are not good.
From what we saw,
I mean, they are not pleasant. In fact, they are not wholesome. The individual involved and you see, it's even illegal to spend. The mechanic say and especially Nesi came just shortly after the launch of the Code of Ethics. What kind of Code of Ethics now? It talks about the need to be humble, the need to be in some degree. If we were to hold and analyze this issue in the strictest terms possible, but I don't think he did that to show off. He did that, I don't think it was, it was any of that. But I believe the president, when the buck stops with the president. He has a tough job to do. He has a tough decision to make. On the one hand, pardoning, the young man, and people complain and say, you had a first test case now one fine baby. And he also has a responsibility to also not just dwarf the growth of a young man who has potential because of one lapse in judgment. Look, indiscretion the to Obiao. And me did say, he was just doing that of the goodness of his heart. And you say no, the BG fans and as well Whisker and all that. But then we are living in an era of cameras and social media and as before. He is in a very bad position, but I think it's a position he can wiggle himself out of. You see, Chief of Staff Efren, which means he was
taking it serious.
And they ought to. In fact, they must take it serious because one launch be to guide the conduct of all public officials, and the conduct is not only in respect of your official duties, even outside of your office. Nina Eka code of ethics.
Okay.
Okay. And the chief of staff was very, shall I say, very clear. What has here?
Yes.
Okay, said, whoever offends our code of ethics, he would be very strong and on those things.
Yeah.
And it's a fine balance, and it's a very tough decision they have to make.
But in terms of the possible punishment, the code profess some forms of punishment. One of them being dismissal, but there's also reprimand, there's also suspension and all of that. In this particular action, and I've made the argument, I'll repeat, I think the threshold for dismissal has not been met as far as this is concerned.
No, has that threshold been established in the code?
No, it is not.
It's discretionary.
Discretionary. And also if you are looking for a specific provision in the code where a breacher you might not find.
You will find.
Hold on. But for such codes of conduct, there is a spirit behind it.
Absolutely.
That spirit, you would see, it's a way, maybe are falling short of that spirit. But I'm saying, maybe a reprimand, maybe a query.
And I think that the decision should be left to the president and the chief of staff.
Absolutely.
Because Omuni, for want of a better expression, they are the executors and implementers of this code. And they know which punishment is commensurate.
Yes.
But I would also like to urge the public, look, I mean, one lapse and the call is to sacrifice you. And this has nothing to even do with a Juma or the way a bonting. I admit, it was a lapse in judgment.
Yes.
What has here?
Yes.
To just completely, because look, if he gets dismissed, his career would suffer a great deal.
Yeah. He might not bounce back again.
How many people have been able to recover from that? And this is, a bright young man.
Victoria Hammer.
Victoria Hammer couldn't come back from the rumor he shared, in respect of her anticipation. I mean, the ambition she had. It was just an expression of an ambition.
Yes.
Crooked as that ambition might have been, but it was just expression. She had not acted on the ambition.
Yes.
But she suffered. And basically, I doubt if she has recovered politically. Well, so some might say, no cry, she was just keke. She got dismissed. But what I'm saying is that let's leave it to the president, let's leave it to the chief of staff. They would know which punishment or which sanction. I like to use the word sanction. Is most appropriate.
Yeah.
Which sanction is commensurate? It could just even be, I'm on warning.
Yeah.
And maybe communicate same to the public, because the public needs to know what action is being taken and all that. It could also be said they might ask him to resign. I don't know, but I'm sure the president will do the right thing by him and by us.
Yeah.
It's a fine balance, and I have every fidelity in the president to do the right thing. But Nientia is because of his own if you wish, positions on issues in the past.
Yeah.
But the fact I disagreed with you in the past on something should not blind me to be objective in discussing issue that you are involved in. I mean, idea say you dream home. It doesn't look good, like I said. It doesn't look good on all levels. But can justice be, tempered with mercy? Because at the end of the day, you are going to compare so many factors: the future of the young man and the alleged breach of offense we're committing,
and the magnitude
of
the
alleged offense. What has here? If you are not also measured and trying to please a certain segment of the population, now the punishment would be disproportionate. And I mean, as far as the young man goes, so you have been unfair to him, and you've acted unfairly towards him. Until, like I said, let's leave it to the chief of staff and the president. But others must learn from this.
Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Look, something that ordinarily in the past you would just wish away and say, but because there was no such code of ethics, you couldn't hold anybody to anything. And unfortunately, I keep saying this and I'll keep saying it till the end of time. You are the president who also was not helping matters. When somebody was even found in a situation, even I like to think that the Cecilia Dapa case was even worse. The president was the one fronting for her innocence. He was the one leading the charge that this was a woman who would survive this and all that. And Enuno is a bit what is here.
The Cecilia Dapa matter is still a live matter.
Yeah, it's in court.
And so
no, I'm talking about the conduct of the president. Minka says she's guilty.
You said that the president was the one leading her innocence. Then it means that you doubt whether she's indeed innocent.
Of course, which is supposed to be the position of the law. And she's proven to be innocent. You know, she's supposed to be.
Of course. So you believe that you believe that she's not innocent, and the president believes that she's innocent.
No,
the president cannot express
the position of the law.
I'm saying that
the presumption is in favor of your innocence.
But the president
until proven guilty.
The president
and you're guilty until proven innocent.
Yes. This
in that case.
Yes.
Tell me which law of the land.
But that's the argument I'm making.
No, you see, good governance is you see, as a team, good governance goes just beyond rule of law.
I think and the work and some you buy what can Dominic.
On the here protect me.
No more position.
You the aggressor, you need protection. How can you
member of parliament is
Ma'am, you see, the facts of the matter is we didn't even have a code of ethics for us to even hold anybody accountable. Now standards are higher.
Okay.
If you're a public official, as someone who said this dispensation is different from the one before, this is different. And the president consistently waka. So onuna mamwe di anana bayi different. What is it?
Yes.
He could have just said we'll bring code of ethics and it will take him the rest of the 4 years to do that. But okay, odi osiaye oyo and odi inaba. And I'm saying that his disposition towards this code is different because he appears to be passionate and serious about it.
Yes.
And I'm saying that unlike in the past, first we didn't have one. And secondly, you had the president even fighting for people who were accused or alleged to have been involved in Yoma. Since the Bible, or see, or GDS, or baby, no.
That is true. In fact, it is true in law and in fact.
No. Which fact? The fact is that
he's the custodian of the Constitution.
The fact is that. The fact is that.
He was not presuming
process.
He was not presuming her innocent until proving guilty.
What was?
I know you declared
to the end of until even at the end of the process, you still be innocent. On Kaze, you are innocent until
the wedding.
Yes, I know you will be cleared.
You are the general.
That.
What did he say?
He didn't say what you are saying.
I am not quoting him.
What is the president?
You are just paraphrasing.
Or see me himself. Now who so?
No, who so? Yes, I know. By the time you'll be cleared.
You'll be cleared.
It's the same thing. The import is the same. Whether I chose different words or not, the import is the same. Only say, "Mammy, no cry and go and go or fun with you a best home."
Presumption of innocence.
No, on can't say you are innocent until you are proven otherwise. Or see, you see, and we're talking about governance.
Yes.
If it is rule of law, that is the position of the law. But governance goes. There are many indices that make up good governance. What is it? The perception.
Yes.
You see, corruption.
Which mainly we measure corruption by.
That is what it is because that's why you cannot look. You cannot. You are corrupt.
Yes.
Now there are measures say you're corrupt. It is a perception. And as a president, if you want to discount people's perception, any the things you say. If somebody is, is assumed to have offended the law, your position is not just that's why you brought the OSP. Until we didn't say OSP by any juma.
Simple.
Fe.
So by extension, by extension,
not to digress. Your point is quickly to win it.
You see, in the past, what would constitute a normal, conduct of a public official might not be the same in this dispensation.
Okay.
And near Etu Sami should be a lesson to everybody.
Okay.
Say, why do you say, I've been a betray, say, woo. When you see kakra, would be a child when you tumika kakra, would be chunk of Fusa Una Yawu.
A chilling TV church.
Be careful, say, a corner and go now and 3 years. Near Etu Sami, beer, I don't know what the president's decision is going to be. It might not end well, it might be that you're very primandino. But in the situation, Yamiana Dumna, you're primandina, now the sanction is milder. Who are we betting? Beer.
Now, would the
now you might not survive.
So I would the also might border on crime.
Exactly. Because if you feel, say, so as we see to me, now I
the necessarily criminal.
Yes.
But maybe yours might border on crime and
this is how governance ought to be. Yeah. That people must begin to take the issue of accountability very seriously. And we're not just saying that account for the things you do in the office. Outside of the office, you must be accountable for every action and inaction. Even only when you're Master, once you become a public official, you need to be careful. What I say, and even domestic. Look, me see code of ethics.
Not necessarily you've crossed the line. And the crowd, when you're public official, that's a crime.
But I'm saying, sir, it gets amplified. It gets amplified. I'm just saying, sir, it gets amplified. And sometimes it be some things you do at home.
It will hear a complaint, crowd say superior say, obey a minister, and say, oh, mammy chop money bill.
No, over complaining a day.
Say,
over complaining.
Will go through emotional stress.
Now, any hunger, confit you.
And no say a breach code of ethics, no. Well, own conduct you
for who
because look, your wife can set you up. Uma comedina. Any kind of if you don't have peace at home, it wouldn't have some jail with fear. Where do you mean? Your life, both domestically, publicly, they are under scrutiny. And yes, we are following up. One about you way. Where you may Munkuko kitty, we are following up. What has here? Every public official is now under the microscope. And that's what governance ought to be. Say everybody is subject to scrutiny. Obia oye juma ma abino can be questioned, can be criticized. It can code of ethics now. They say you should be receptive to criticisms.
Yeah.
But are we not also by this? For example, if I am a public official, and because of your cultural, how our society is constructed, so in a public official be acquiring fear, for example, or then some envelope kakra.
You need to stop it.
Now no. It is here and no. When a appointee does that, it breaches the code.
It does. As
it does. And you must obey culture too.
Yes. No. District chief executive as part of your budget.
Now what if no Yamfa is a parastater.
No, he's not generalizing it.
No, me ba. Yamfa parastater, you are the CEO. Sa budget and car.
Or cook for bingo.
They are fine.
And Nuntina sounded this caution. We don't also have to stretch
too much
code of ethics.
I'm sorry, I echo. Now the donations. Any other
no. Now
can on your opinion.
That is it. Now say all those things. No,
they should be discouraged.
And
I should be discouraged.
No. Then you are always say Amamre.
You see, that's
no.
So
if you go to the mosque, who even do a zakat?
Sadaka is personal. I can't go to the mosque and give Sadaka on behalf of the organization.
I think
it's unacceptable.
Ramadan. you are a DC, you won't give donation to the Muslims.
Because Unimnientia is for political reasons.
No! It's part of your budget.
That's
why you budgeted for it. Unim say Muslim for you.
Debbie is not that.
And so why do you do that? No, but why do you do that?
It's social responsibility of the district assembly.
Yeah.
What is social responsibility?
And that's why I made this point. I believe, sir, going forward in this conversation, we should look at thresholds, because the code of ethics no any very clear on the thresholds. Inti ebirin koma yebi now meba what overdoing?
Enkoka said Robonso makoto emu 1 million achama Robonso for.
When say 1 million, that's too extreme.
1 million bucks.
1 million reason. We should be clear on that. Inti, for example, odi yemfa Sammy Assembly creation in Tonche.
Yes.
Me appointee, me share me sofo.
Yes.
Ebi a me sofo pia be me car. Makai be kakra from the bottom.
That's it.
Eddie Aman.
That's fair. And look at that, it's too mild. Yemfa him fear de na oka ho asem no kasem.
Obi,
you are going to asempa FM muko mampo hini fie muko na nakuma wo hini fie mo say code of conduct in tie de ensa kwan na buy. Can you enter the house?
No,
I'm talking of government institution.
No,
DC kwa chia na na yes ye de ensa pa de ko.
If the chief is aware that there's a code of ethics that prohibits
code of conduct doesn't enter him fie.
You see,
code of conduct in fie. What are you talking?
Corruption is a governance construct.
Yes.
What you say?
It is.
And a lot of agricultural practices are in fact they promote corruption like absolutely.
Yeah, social construct, no AAD
corruption. And then because if you look at corruption as a governance construct, any agricultural practices be ebobra. And if you are saying say you continue to promote those cultural practices, then let's forget about
corruption will become
we can't even begin.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. Code of ethics is a good guide.
Yes.
Look, Obinka say as CEO, ukwa himfi, ukakra wo bottom, ukwa now the
you are not going in your name. You are going in the name of the institution. So the institution takes care of it. As an institution.
But it's public money.
Yes. We are giving it to a public institution. I fear a public institution.
It's not.
What is this?
It's a public
institution.
It's a creature of the constitution. It's a creature of the constitution.
Every creation of the law is a public institution. Exactly.
Not necessarily.
But chieftaincy is not private.
You see, something that is public. What is it?
Chieftaincy is not private.
In my view, it's specific to localities.
Yes, it's
traditional areas. Exactly. Me be come as they are also
development partners.
No, it's not big. You see, we are confusing issues.
The constitution recognizes them
as public institutions,
as part, not necessarily
development partners
of our public construct.
Yes,
and that's why even royalties, I was say, secure about mining in our honor. A public money, we give some.
No, they don't deserve it. You consider as part because public money in Abeho. Why do you give them some?
I say even the buyer because royalties they because assembly.
And assemblies are part of public institutions.
Even by extension, the original House of Chiefs, they are public institutions because their judicial committee has the powers of a high court.
It's true. That's the point.
Yes.
The original House of Chiefs are a public
institution. Let me help you. Our paramount chiefs, their paramounts are being manned by public officers. You're posting a registrar from a ministry to go ahead there. So, and we pay them with the taxpayers' money. My question is, paramounts. So it's a public institution by extension.
So is a public institution.
Yes.
So if you are going to a public institution, why is it required that you pay?
That you pay, man.
No, I'm saying the
nexus between
what is I'm going if EPA is going to Ministry of Energy and because you want to.
There is a nexus.
American
The point I'm trying to make is Corruption is a governance construct.
That is where corruption is.
Obi, US that. Okay, who could do a restaurant?
Umatip.
Yeah,
the cap bill no about
exactly.
Hold on.
And that's
unim say sadia we say Ghana and me as honorable makodidi na me mo bi tipa ye beka say me bribe no
there be matives Ghana have crime matives.
I mean in your private capacity if you read the me say unya honorable kan who did a restaurant bi obi anu ni asem but na honorable no obakota that same restaurant and no didi ye beka say
obey am sisa ye beka ho asem ani na ga we apology
unu be no didi
enti and that's why I think sir if we make a fetish around code of conduct we we might into
what are you
hold on
I think
Justice Dateba,
we don't need
Justice Dateba in Ransford, France, said it might lead to a meltdown of governance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Code of ethics.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we
show me an example.
If we stretch it, because maybe the NSA there are some offenses. I wouldn't say offense where they downright illegal.
That is it.
The ones now a border on discretion to say. For a better example, no Sammy DA. Is it an offense? And I say misconduct. I was a president. Does it meet the threshold for dismissal?
No. You see the code, no. The code is not about laws that already are in existence.
I know.
It's about the look. For the most part, code
a guide.
It's a guide.
Yes.
And you see, guide. For it to be effectual,
yes,
there must be a sanctions regime.
I get it.
And what should be the sanctions regime?
Yes.
Are we saying, say, sanctions should just be limited to reprimand?
No.
Dismissal to me,
yes. So that's why the code emma the forms of sanctions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Including dismissal.
Exactly.
Yes.
So as to whether a certain breach of the code miss a certain sanction or not,
yes,
is for the determination of normal code and that's why I kept making reference to the president and the chief of. Eventually, they are the ones determine whether a breach with the reprimand and fata, with the dismissal and fata, with the resignation and say catch and so on, resign and so on. But if we begin to set thresholds,
yes,
this will become useless.
But we cannot also do away with thresholds.
No. What? So how do you set the threshold for dismissal? How do you set the threshold for reprimand?
Okay.
Because Omuna, you see, they are running this government.
Yes.
They know what will be helpful in terms of the agenda now prosecuting it, and the kind of integrity they want to integrity agenda now so it can hit the integrity agenda, it can hit the transparency agenda and so on. So they can, after you didn't appoint yourself, they appointed, they can better determine which sanction is fitting. But if we begin to say that code of conduct and ethics, say a certain threshold for sanctions, so that and for the most part, if we are going to do that, what we are going to do is thresholds would end up being until the person commits a criminal offense, being permanent, and say a permanent. Left for us, that's the determination we are going to make. But breach
it might not be necessarily a criminal offense. But
give me an example,
okay,
of something that office in your view should meet the threshold for dismissal.
When you take
criminal
like, your friend is saying, Mami, Cecilia Dapa, as far as Cecilia Dapa is concerned,
there was an allegation of a criminal offense
against who?
About why she's standing trial.
No, in America, no. So it was an allegation of a criminal offense by the OS.
Yes.
But at the time the thing happened, there was a public conversation. Nothing had been established against her.
Oh, until who chairman, then
no, but the point is, no, because of the magnitude, the money's involved, and it's air cost. People were like, hey, and the way there. But when you take the money involved, now you take your being sued, a few dollars be. $100, $200, or the attorney suffer. Camera capture. Now the trouble thing.
No, I'm not sure it's been them. You see, no. I didn't want to go there, but now that you've raised it,
yes.
Do you know it's illegal to spend dollars in this country?
Spend? Yes. Where spend means what?
Whether you share or you buy something, whatever it is, the legal tender in this country is Ghana cedis.
I know.
You cannot be seen spend. What is
how do you spend money? What is spend?
Spend is.
What is spend?
Me the check I'm spending my money.
You are saying, sir, the law allows me to keep dollars. There's no law,
but not to spend it in the
jurisdiction. Hold on. The law allows me to keep dollars.
Yes.
I meet Atik, my friend. Atik, $100. I commit a crime.
You are spending the dollars.
Wow. How so? I don't understand.
How do you spend money?
Because it says
spending is only when you go and do purchases.
Cedis is legal tender for the payment of every amount.
Goods and services.
For the payment of every amount. Obviously for goods and services. If I give you, I take your madam for me or dollars or my mom $100, and when for the purpose of education,
services
may the mawa. Does it qualify for the spend? Said the Awokan.
It does. How do you spend money? You don't spend money only when you are paying for goods and services. Yamfani said, Michelle.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now me will scour me home.
Yes.
Then I decide, say, Obi, the 200.
That's a donation.
What is donation? Me, most say I'm donating.
Yes. What a channel.
Empty chair is donation.
Yeah.
When we go for
donation.
So it would me
gift.
Yeah. So now it's gift.
So gifting and dashing, I don't see that as an expenditure.
I'm still spending my money. It's my money that I'm spending.
Oh, well. It is. It's an expenditure.
It's an expenditure.
The more reason why you pay gift tax.
Yes.
The more reason why you pay gift tax.
Yes.
It's an expenditure.
Yeah.
So you cannot tell me
on your trial balance. On your trial balance, you're going to capture it.
That's how it is. Because you see, there's something called leakage. We have injections and leakages.
Okay.
If any inflow is an injection, any outflow is a leakage.
Yes.
And outflows mostly means that you are spending, whether with the chobi and now with the yedian. Once the money is going out there, you are spending. Is your money you are spending? And are we saying say Obi spend like near ACA? Should it also amount? Because it's illegal to spend any other currency apart from the Ghana cedis. Should we say in that case, it means a threshold for dismissal? Because like I was telling you, if we want to set thresholds, we are going to end up linking our dismissal threshold to Obi Awaye Bibia criminal, and it offends the law. But on Cody, it doesn't talk about the commission of crimes.
Yes. More than discretion.
Because that's what courts do.
Yeah.
If it's about criminal offenses, there are laws to deal with that.
Laws to deal with.
What was it?
Yes.
But if we start setting thresholds, which threshold will be fitting enough for dismissal?
But there is also reasonableness.
The originators of the code, they are the implementers.
I get it. But I was already, people are calling for dismissal.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, sir.
And that's what I'm saying. I believe the president will do that which is right.
Of course.
If he feels that this qualifies for dismissal, he should proceed.
But that would also be, of course, the president knows what discretion.
That's it.
But our discretion is only subject
to abuse.
Of abuse here, one.
You.
No. And that's why there are even laws, including our constitution, to regulate the exercise of discretion. It is discretion, yeah, absolute. The first one, discretion.
No, but so in this, we are talking in this instance.
Yes.
So presidency Oyinedi.
Yes.
Will that amount to abuse of discretion?
As far as I am concerned, yes.
Why?
It will be an overkill.
It will be an overkill. As far as I am concerned.
What is as
far as I am concerned.
Because for you, that is, you will see it as an overkill.
Yes.
But for the president, on him agenda, until the code so if the integrity, transparency, and accountability agenda now,
yes.
Officer the proportionate punishment is ordinary and a sanction, dismissal. You can say yes,
because again, the other say overkill. They said you might then turn round to. Then by the time you end your 4 years, so
you
ministers they are appointing more than 5,000,
and there are more 5,000 people to fill their positions. If that's what it takes, you see this idea of law enforcement. enforcement of rules and regulations. Ghana a problem in and it is just how to enforce rules and regulations.
That is then the president ninya obi mani bejina multimedia nim ha. Drobon so every year we pay party full soldier bejina oh na drobon so yi ni bottom chale je or they share na camera capture na drobon so is going home.
No. Or man 20 cities.
Yes.
Who shall or then coffee.
I don't know there. So say
no. When the issue abe issue is the dollars involved and the way sikani ye chiche no.
That we are one chicheska. So
yes.
Who now can say your way is come be watching. Who now can say the way of first year donation.
I know what I'm saying is discretion yes, but Charlie.
Indeed, I see Yenja mark the president and hope say he will do that which is right by Ghanaians.
Mamintio.
Obi, I think I understand that tick. And mete minion NDC for ni so I think say you nailed it right on the head by saying say. Now they made that to us. Made that to us. Ideas as some we see amatimi akoye hope. MPP is idle power.
Don't lose focus. Start it.
Made us. Woman say I understand the uproar. I think pointed one. Say one. There is so much and which needs to be a yawne yentio biane okukuruko sembia yenuanum yechire yentino. It looks as if the standard
MPP for Ankaze press conference as a party.
Yes.
Did they do one on Cecilia Dapa?
As in,
do you remember? No, then.
When's the party issue?
Do you remember?
I don't remember. Okay. Yes. Meet you.
I understand. So the kind of standard that Ghana for the measure NDC now is very high because na ban da ho John Mohammed Jababi say every high jump no o the ban no two baby na do ban no yi ban no to form no nante so.
Would that be fair?
That is the truth.
Your truth.
Nanado came and removed the bar and put it on the ground. So there was no measurement again. It is the same Ghana for any brese bar no John Mohammed and send page bar into Homao so that they can measure as it had start afresh. That is why it's resetting. So I can understand the uproar. Within the NDC there are two sessions. Okay, you captured it very right, sir. There are people who are genuinely concerned. Hey, Debbie, why do you do this? Those people are genuinely concerned about the spectacle. Say, hey, send me my MPP for look at how CID Nancy obey feeding kama yekase so for so many ni tiri nyina aba just because obi dollar mobi. So that is what some genuine concerned NDC people are also concerned about. Nkrofoye kunye ene amia kunfi ya charge no kra intimi mpeke headline.
Oh, say a court and
ya charge no say a court. Yes, some say intimi oh nyahwe say we the small fish we comedy so afi na ye be call also wohu and no then there is that other segment in so so na wo hye ho no sankrofo no so wo ho omono na make kire omo say na ye so egina ho no hwe ne wa hwe ase
said about Kwariasi.
Oh, Sammy Gyamfi. Bible Mohu, Samuel. There are two things that happen in Samuel. Ubi ko bo afode keke. Ubi ko bo afode keke Nyankopon gia hini ni firi ni fie ka den ko hye nase. Ubi su de sheda ko fa obi yire sa kunniku esa ji oba ne ka no ho nyame so de nya hwe akwala no ya mo wo no na meku no keke. Send their Indian man forever. Yeah. Masa, age mate is not grace mate too.
Not grace mate.
Nti minim say nye den ya ha Nyakopon a hata surinti. Sami nyame be yin afrim.
Oh. Is it we all pray so?
Yes.
Look, I'll be one of the
I was so happy sir.
I mean this is
I was so happy sir. Immediately say yes. He didn't use discretion well.
Overboard.
So that was why he came to apologize.
Sure.
He didn't apologize because okay, Muslim I apologize, but no, in the spur of the moment, because me can't say my trap no. And we all know. Yes, that's what I believe. Because why would you be going to somebody with a camera?
No, they have
but in the video you see her husband also filming.
Yes,
but you see in the video who's your voice now. Me say bibi say mamincha and so time mujina kan hu di nkomo nyina na omucha.
That is it.
Omu kwa kan no
what I suspected was that Agrada felt say nko Sammy ho a the odia ye NDC ntino she would have been humiliated. Yeah. So the cameras were ready to capture that particular scene. And
it's also possible. She tried
on trending.
It's very possible. Yeah.
She tries on those things.
I don't know. They better from him.
Ono no kwaya no. O receive me nicely no say we receive me dia ne just on my miska.
Infanto fuel.
Yes. Oh, so in the spur of the moment, and I make us say, Sammy realized, well, let me just get this out of the way and go.
It happens.
Minia.
And that's why context is important.
What the fear? Achisika media so me kura me soda.
Yes.
I don't know party for amo.
So they say you're in trouble.
Because Obianka.
No, you see, his problem is that me problem in this CID want to say my press conference. Yes, my idol ejuma ni ho. Nti mo de mo press conference no problem. But then to come and say one day one scandal.
Time alam with mo
one day one scandal. That scandal mo na mo my ejuma ye.
Ya taba me mo nya butro. Yo.
What do you do with the compare Cecilia Dapa say? And Cecilia Dapa wa nya hwe so look at how I count. Debut Cecilia Dapa ni Sammy. Cecilia Dapa de call him pass no $1 million at an impasse abra bank wo. What you say? And no akra na sabe ka kire Ghana fo nyina say me $1 million na egu me pass no obi awie bi mo nchene ntum mame. Na ga me hu ye. Ah, ngaka wa no tume.
Now are you by that saying it's a banking a compulsory say also
and compulsory aside that banking aspect no kra no public official $1 million good demo ye dey.
Aden, what is wrong with that?
Whatever wrong is wrong. Because special prosecutor say we pay our gen in dollars, we in cedis. Dollars. No say they could do $1 million.
Some salary no $dollars.
Mami kama se me dia.
I'm Opoku Gyamfi.
Maybe the say the things are not exclusively the same. The entire Sammy patch on say yes. NDC for Adiano Ebia. The fact that Agrada we pay Juma die na Sammy timi Agrada sika NDC for be so dia no.
But it can also be say any but politics no.
And I'm say the pana ye di le chikura sa not here. Gabi dia na Gabi afanye jo Mahama okurum ha.
Gabi ye ne.
Eso wan ko ni ah na nyoma Kufuado di jo Mahama nyina nya Gabi na she chiri.
Gabi ye ne dey.
Ni last bill no mumpia enyo mo a.
Gabi ye.
The water bill no mumpia. Your friend is officer yam pe bia ma no. Efie kura sabe o so betrem kura ya mama ni free. Ni nyina anya mo a. O ti ase. Eso wi e chiri wan ko ni fie ho. Na nado na kura o de ne ye na ko sia no kwawu. President mu a wan sore ai cha.
Na adia o dia ye so se mu a no kasa.
Friendly to the president is this.
But I think I could
was not a former president.
There is opportunity. No, was not Opoku for the video.
Okay. The listeners cannot.
The least opportunity
when you are talking about a former at least respect
his excellency Nana
I'm
banking sector cleanup anything more thing
punk so ni nyina nkro
uyonko president Ekofie
ono odi ma Ekofie dada
efie na owo ho no uyuzu vice president wo baby te o say me senior minister kotra on John Mohammed tuna wa kope
these are just personal
personal
efie dey na working vice president fie no
baby na president te no
baby na John Mohammed that's where Baumia was
me say by then they were your friend say no music bi and even
have you read the national security report about
that was not there
say it's not safe
where it's located
but do you know where the vice president's residence is? Do you know where it is?
No.
No.
When you look at where the
debut by then
they no most you know.
The mass house is actually opposite.
Have you seen where the Huawei and other buildings na Ewon? Those high rise buildings. What is who vice where the fee ni munye na baby I mean please let's switch back on.
Minia me say it was the duty of the state to get the former president. Then na 8 years na do ampi bia ma no.
That's a fair point.
President Kufodi na kunya wie. Office kwa mama ni bokuba. Office come on, money residents me so one about what can do something.
Yeah,
mobilize tax and president go for office.
John Mahama he restored all the privileges. 2012 John Mahama he restored all the privileges.
From 2009.
Okay, Mama
you see, I am not
nobody is hearing what you are saying. No,
former president. John, not former president. No, former president.
You have the opportunity to speak.
I'm say, John, I don't before. No, former president.
That Akufo is now inextricably over.
But why the least opportunity
but you were expecting him to be fighting the president?
He was fighting him when he was president. He was fighting him.
When video be about
yeah, but that's John Mohammed's call, not your call. If John Mohammed doesn't want to greet him, it's his call.
No. John
Mohammed is a different personality.
Was he a Nedian and I don't go for you? I think John Mohammed will be a down for
at the investiture went to your speeches now. What did John Mohammed say?
What is
John Mohammed
the only person in Ghana friend Johnny, a former president.
John Mohammed here. What's your point? John Mohammed here. John Mohammed Assemblies of God in
Anglican.
Oh no, Odi community. Yes, Sammy Nyame shouting. Name aboa ye nyina because they say no. Appointee bia ni ho be sika of public bia mu. Wo ye fu soldier na wo hia me amesrew. Wa ya no be. Obi akoye sacrifice keke o.
Yes.
Professor then all mama do o sacrifice. Ye ji ahini efiri. Enti bia Sami ko yi dollar nyame adom ya twi nanim ya jano mimi ko yi si dia bia na mi kofie o ba cha o
bi so o mo defend no o mo kase mo hwe ne yie
adai
me hu e bia if it is true is attributed to this man.
Senor Hosi. No, just read his original Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm saying
he did a Facebook post If you go to Senor Hes's page and read his original,
so these attributions
headlines might be
deceptive.
Or see, he was already a rich man and
No, I don't think he said that plainly in his.
No, me say.
But what
he didn't say that, or he didn't say that plainly.
But what did he say? Have you read it?
Meaning who may be our choice. But I'm just saying that people want to.
Then CID. At least it's not about everybody's defense. It's about what the person himself has said. Or say I didn't know no mun fanchan why ye. Enti me fanchana. Hey, na CID o say was more than sir.
Na there obi say one fanchan obi. Because say na maka say fanchan no.
Nti munni bibia ye wo Ghana say Sammy Gyamfi akwache obi sika ntino na mokoya mo press conference.
Asam na me kan dem so wanti o me say
my idol follow.
I wo na akoye ya nka generate yi sao. But the personality what he has done in the past to people with like behavior
payback time.
You see life no where like also me di come out Galatians 6:7. E ma kan want to want tiase. Want tiase.
Because in America say you may have to read your original post.
Yeah.
Anger, virtue, we move.
I think I read that one.
If you've gotten it.
I read it before, but it's attributed to
No, his only comment on the
is just the one
issue is this one.
Yeah.
Into that headline.
Prophet tries some sensationalizing issue. But like I said, no, on a more serious note, I think it's a wake-up call for all of us. Say, as appointees now, even John Mahama himself is humbled by this victory. Usheli dimina. Adiano, I said, tax na Ghana for their share and semono. I said, the overwhelming endorsement and the overwhelming trust Ghana for bestow is become a heavyweight on our shoulders. Inti ato yire no ho samin so like they've bought gold for Bank of Ghana in the first quarter more than in the whole year. So a lot is happening, but there are few people who are also looking for things. Now then a whole government for 5 months penimunya scandal bakupe. Debi wemo. But this tanaka you free a plagiarism drew a friend say bakum no cry say premise for the number firm amobi so cry a cambon da.
Attorney General Sama Baby.
Oh, Mammy Kamasama.
A member of parliament. Actually, parliament. Actually, say. Yeah, Attorney General, no two of my penny for no. I hear the number one attorney. I say, criminal. Also, a criminal. Your fellow Attorney General say, or a criminal.
Or say that post name yet. Or say that.
I say no.
The account no yeah. Cloned impersonation. Okay. Impersonation.
Okay. Obi. Listen to me. Obi.
I feel they are done brofo.
But the interesting thing is the so-called allegations.
Yes.
The Attorney General in his press conference and in fact said Wajiska from the
who doesn't take campaign donation? No. Campaign donation.
That's not how a lawyer responds to campaign donation. If you respond by saying corruption and then MPB or parliament be corrupt. No, that is not it.
Every MP raises funds. Every MP raises funds.
The principal legal officer.
Oh, by then he wasn't the Attorney General.
He was.
He wasn't the Attorney General. No, he wasn't the Attorney General.
Yes, but time I responded.
In
cross examination, na menya wa dewe. Na wa
examination, ba me kamasem. No kra woman say. He said, "Sir, asema wo kanokra no. MP Ben na wo parliament during campaign yenji donation."
He said you are criminal. So for 500,000.
He didn't make that allegation. Yes,
but for you to admit indeed, from the same name.
Oh, yeah. The so-called perception was that Attorney General
okay, assuming that A+ didn't say that, assuming without admitting, let's all account to be actually as an attorney general. You came out to respond.
Yes, and to admit.
He didn't do that in his capacity as an attorney general.
When he was responding, he responded to the accusation when he was
as a general secretary of PNC who solicited for funds.
Soliciting for funds is different from being
what is it?
That's what we discussed.
No. He didn't say I accepted a bribe.
It was a bribe. You admitted, say,
coming to the response in the first.
Yes, it's an admission.
It doesn't mean say why Bonibi, but the response leaves more questions than answers.
My point. I still stand by the point.
Say he has all tools at his disposal to verify whether the account indeed is A+ or not.
Yes.
So for him to mention him in his response, say A+. Yes. It means the man was sure said the author was A+.
Was A+.
If he did not know, then he's even the worst attorney general we can ever have.
Also over
there.
I say
overstretching the argument.
We are overstretching. Attorney general has the capacity to even go.
If the attorney general is responding,
is the person under investigation?
What are you saying?
Are you saying, sir?
No, maybe because is the person under investigation.
Everything the police do relative to prosecution, investigations,
if the person becomes person of interest,
yes,
then now you zoom in with the cyber security, you zoom in with all those.
It's about reputation. You are as an attorney.
There is this thing A+, a popular MP has made a post. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Then immediately the Attorney General goes and says cyber security.
Go check it on his page. Why did you hold a press conference?
Oh, Minia.
Is he? Why did you hold a press conference? That whole issue is not very tidy.
It's unwholesome.
There should be.
For me,
it's tidy.
Who consider period now? Okasem no. Any period now or saba back because or assembly period or saba case and you on the chair.
Yeah, him say it was.
Look at that.
Look at example. How do you say it? Correct. How do you use
post facto rationalization?
That's exactly what he did.
Some said
the fact of the matter is
couple of weeks after. Couple of weeks.
Next day, no, couple
of weeks.
It took time.
A couple of weeks. Immediately. A couple of weeks.
And news coming in. Richmond Roxen appointed spokesperson and head of communications. Energy Ministry.
Richmond Roxen that
Richmond Roxen. My name looks familiar, but I'm trying to put
spokesperson for the
Energy Ministry. Yes.
Okay.
He looks like a journalist, I think. Yes. He looks like a journalist. And also another way say journalists now are building capacity.
And now it also means that they have been very biased from the beginning.
Yes. The price of bread today is this. The price of milk today is this. And
what I am saying is and let all face the issues because you may have been quote biased. It doesn't mean say nuntino ubetimi anya appointment by just being biased. If you don't have the capacity.
More degrees chance ankrofi. More degrees chance ankrofi.
Oh.
No, are you saying me say I
am a proud host of Ekosiisen and a private legal practitioner. Yes.
Going to school was it was more like an obligation. School need one kubia and it's a degrees na and this imran you benye bebre decide be no e their mom. But you should tell you say why to even because you say would you
vegan to that thing to Kumasia kasaka school sa PV janto when ya that thing oh Kumasi popular in this man Okay. Why not?
Yeah, it's really well.
I said appointment no munyi.
Na ho kwara mi nwanwa.
Na appointment
be susu akese o ma.
Anya na yi agbesi nuchu eye board member wo Ghana watai.
Na we say agbesi nuchu. Buga boy board member anyway
board member asem kitwa
na operations
na board member
asem uni say fakotra me dey
election boy adwuma
na agbesi nuchu o say na agbesi nuchu
emi na agbesi
who told you say fakotra
agbesi nuchu ye sorry operations person yeah na say board subcommittee on operations
I said football. Yeah, private tower. So then you go defense. Football, yeah, private tower. Then you go defense. So I am there. So I was afraid. Last time I came from you. Question I am not me show goes. Sure.
The next match now. I don't even that point also.
I
it's not been easy.
Mamu fanya this year.
No, make say papa na kasa kra odi enim John Mahama na kasa kra o hwe ni dimina. Like say he's careful.
Obia dimina, obia careful.
Masaja na mode de ne hu bibia. Uhura so basa no ba. O kasa obeye so o ye de obeye.
Ekosiisen so
no heka one what
Obi. Ambrose Shia or so Ambrose Shia.
Dunkwa.
Yes, FNS.
Adentra.
West.
He was a
DSO. Former MP aspirant, like DC parliamentary candidate.
DC
now the DC. Yes.
Ambrose,
maybe next year welcome once. There's a letter from the presidency
on
I think it's a response to Manasseh about
yes the president has
to discontinue the Zoom Lion contract.
Yes.
I think the minim say on media.
Otherwise, look, maybe next week.
Yeah. We need to have a conversation. In fact, I was discussing with Omahini about the need to have a forum. And Mazda is considering.
Manasseh just a boy abaso. They say what cry it me reply.
Oh no, I mean to be fair, yeah, that's.
Hey, Naka will be there to be reply. Oh, what daje?
Oh, if you are going reply, no.
Why?
Yes, we can. Oh, that's the uncle for a truck or be there to reply.
Yeah. If you touch the good spot of the president, you are going to reply.
Obi. Good evening. I disagree with you when you say the threshold would be lowered if Sammy is fired. You have lived here in the UK. Would Sammy still have his position today if this happened in the UK or in any of the developed jurisdictions we admire? Let us not make excuses for clear act of impropriety. By doing so, we embolden and enable such act. Thank you. Boache in Edinburgh. Boache in Edinburgh, no? An MP can be there for 4 years. Constituent BRM in the office that say MP between school fees sometimes we have to be real.
No, but
we have to be real.
What is trying to say?
We have to be real.
Yes,
when you do that, then you never do comparison.
No. I think comparison should be done
from ours.
We should contextualize the comparisons.
Excellent.
It will not be fair to take things out of context.
He's looking at the magnitude of the ACA. He's not saying compare UK to Ghana.
No, but the magnitude of the ACA in what sense?
If what you are saying is it is normal to dash people money, why are we all complaining? Why are we talking about it?
But that's what I'm saying. So even the complaints,
this looks like a misnomer. Anything I can want them. I'm telling you, say a misnomer as small and as little as we know elsewhere could have attracted.
And also,
two different contests, and when you do the comparison, it's like comparing.
They are not telling you to compare sharing money here to sharing money in the UK. He's telling you, say, compare this misnomer.
Yes.
Because if it were not misnomer, nobody would be talking about it.
Yeah, but the point is that this misnomer here, what you call a misnomer here, you can bet your last coin, say, because in the UK, who is going to give money to who? For it to even become a misnomer.
Don't compare the
but
scenarios.
The person is comparing.
No. So, what happens there, and what pertains in the UK?
Yes.
For example, they said, Obia, we had the minister resign because he came to Parliament late.
Yes. Hold on. In the UK, the Prime Minister going to the king or the queen will not go with an envelope or a snap.
Oh, don't see.
But you were saying, say,
Yes,
but it cannot be stopped. Said you know more cannot.
But why are we talking about
the cultural nuances?
Why are we talking about it? Because even when we think it's a misnomer. And yes, sir. In the context of code of ethics, yes, sir.
Yes.
And he says that if there were code of ethics in the UK to say now a minister does something similar to NSE,
yes,
and the person could be dismissed. And he's telling you that if you are saying dismissal is like means setting the threshold very high.
Yes.
Say men cancer because that could happen elsewhere. But in democracy, it's a corporate concept.
I know.
What was it?
But I will say your democracy because a borrowed concept, you have to situate it within a social construct.
We haven't done that yet.
But that's the problem. And if we haven't done that, that's the problem.
So we are now going to start it now.
No, but the point is, the MME can say, say MP, based on your argument you made earlier, even if an MP it's a problem. And I say even if a minister it's a problem. How is it normal?
No,
but how would you know
as DC?
Why are we then talking about Samidi?
You can easily tell. Say
absolutely.
No,
so why is it an issue then?
But you see, the contexts are different.
How is it different?
No, Attic. They say Angoma 2,000 cities. And it would be an issue.
Somebody would have an issue with that.
Oh, but that wouldn't have been on this case.
And that's the point we are making. So what is the threshold then?
It's $1 threshold.
DC as part of your assessment for the year, you be district level assessment.
Yes.
You beside one question be your social engagement with the people, and as part of the question a year ago to be quiet, and you feel quiet, because you are the representative of the central government and the president.
Unim say ahim futimi petition president mani you.
Say umma ko si there, umma uku there.
And let me see the issue. Issues with the issues are a bit more nuanced. The issues are a bit more nuanced. Those are also for the MIO. As on what be ye, son what kwa him for. As on what ba.
These are the things that promote. How do you explain it to auditors? How do you explain it to auditors?
You capture it. You
capture it as they.
You see,
under they.
Means.
And also means. Authorities. So you raise a memo. Hold on. You raise a memo to that effect, and it will pass through the process, the different process. What just call away?
And you have a cap on how much you can spend.
Yes.
For traditional authorities.
For
social events, traditional authorities.
I think you see where the
no, we are normalizing. You see, we are normalizing it.
Tell him the position be mammy.
Also the DC kaka.
And that is where the problem is. And that's what I'm saying. We should be careful. The things we call for people to be.
If you are not lucky and you find yourself in the jurisdiction of a paramount chief, Master, don't think you are alone.
You're paramount chief, sir. Paramount chief.
So you now get my point. Because I just had there then we say minister na minister the envelope cause our paramount chief ne hwa. The minister leading a delegation from the ministry. Not the envelope kwa. That's a clear case of a misnomer.
You
understand?
Una visitors from Accra. Say Omobao district, Abayadie, and as part of the itinerary,
they'll pick a testicle
on the they'll pick a testicle on the software.
Minister now already delegation, you know. Ekra brown envelope. He's seen handing over the brown envelope to Otsiame. Camera capture. Eddie Ababe Twabontain. He should be fired.
No, you see, maybe we are trying to compare these two scenarios. Has anybody ever, because these are things that have been going on, has anybody ever complained?
No, because it's part of our culture.
But why are people complaining?
There's not $40.
And the woman involved.
Naked dollars.
But why should a woman involved then be a problem?
No, to the NDC people. No, to the NDC people. The complaints are two. To the NDC people, the woman involved. Nti kai ore yema obian MB before so dey say Sammy ni enya ni ye fendi no
Sammy a minister ana a CEO
yes
na me nua pe adwuma then I use my position to employ the person in the agency that I head.
Yes. No, that is breach of the code. And
you use your position. Of course.
How?
And they are not allowed.
In our culture, that is, it will be hailed. Say, hey, when you're calling him, hey, Debbie. Culture, who condemn you in your family?
Yes, that's the point. But then you have to explain to them because code of
very good.
Even in the governance and maybe you can employ your brother. And they are Nanado never says
and they explain the code to paramount chief.
Maybe the NSA.
What I say? You see,
you come to me.
Constitution of Ghana doesn't work so well in the paramount.
No, they draw powers from the constitution. They do.
They are creation of the law. Mosia so this year.
Yes. I'm moderating a conversation. All the power.
Huh? So the
worst they will do is to rebuke you.
Hey, let me walk. It's me walk.
That is, does the law allow that?
Yes.
No, the law doesn't.
No.
The law doesn't.
All right, if the law,
Republic versus Debra. Republic versus Debra. Republic versus Debra.
When you say I like Bensia, your boka. Ultimate
respect for the
and then
say I feel craft frewa.
You can choose not to go.
Or
you can choose not to go.
No problem. I said, Obi. Okay, no better you know Sukumasi. Fundamental and I'm coming for you.
I don't know,
we have respect for the institution of chieftaincy. That one is beyond debate. We have respect for it. No, we have respect for it. But I'm telling you, sir, who call him fee? No one for me to an anima.
Yes.
That's
what we call social harmony. You need
what are we saying?
But that's why Sammy on Tom Rebia. But that's what we are saying.
No, what is Kama Ahimfuna? Illegal.
Illegal.
But any code issues.
The code doesn't say don't go and pay courtesy call on chiefs. The code doesn't say that.
It doesn't say go and pay courtesy, go and pay.
Hey, it doesn't also say go and pay money to chiefs.
No, you're not paying money. If you are paying courtesy call, we all know it goes into courtesy call.
But public funds will go into that courtesy call. But that's where the issue is.
Why should there be an issue?
The point is, you are not doing it on a regular basis.
You pay for it.
No, then Charlie, we should jettison the code.
Then the code is there, as you said, as a guide. It's supposed to guide our lifestyle. And that is what we must all obey.
But if the
that is why even Sammy had to apologize. Because of course, he should have exercised better judgment. It's no apologize here.
A better judgment, what? Like he shouldn't have given money?
No, in fact, said, yes, that is what people
feel. That's all money be there. And that's why I think that Charlie, this whole conversation.
We are making a storm out of
this code. Exactly.
If you want to pick and choose,
then we are picking and choosing.
No, you see.
You are pick and choose.
Okay.
Say.
Yes, the code is there to guide us.
Yes.
I didn't see
a guide.
Yes, it's to sanctions. Public office holders know who. Your orientation, all right, but then Obian said they need a dear Uben name so chinchina trying.
So this is not exactly
sanctions. Me mama mu we mu ne dear. Say them person mo conduct mu hunnie. That is why he gave us a code of conduct.
But Obi, technically speaking, from the legal point of view, unim say code Ukraino legally.
Any legal authority.
Because all the sanctions. Because all the sanctions that come on. Is it a criminal? Is it a criminal or quasi criminal? Is it criminal or quasi criminal? How?
No, the president doesn't even need any.
He doesn't need the code to fire you.
If he sets his own standards, he can fire you. That is it. He doesn't need any law to do that.
But we so say because a year code, no. And that's why I like the bit about say. The chief of staff called the person in question, maybe to listen, because if you don't listen to the person, now go ahead, go fire now. And what happens?
Because you appointed. No, you appointed.
No, we're not saying it is illegal, but it's unfair. That's the point.
That is the point.
But when you were appointed ahead of several others, was that fair?
Yeah.
Oh. When you were appointed ahead of several others,
to take fair. Somebody had to be appointed
first. So fairness there, when it comes to
I don't see
appointing and the appointing authority and dismissal, there's no fairness and unfairness or whatever in there. That is my point. No, you are at the beck and call of whoever is your appointer.
No, but that's
sorry. One day, I want to be fair. You see, when the fairness, that means you can seek redress in any competent court of jurisdiction. But in this case, you can't.
You cannot seek
redress. You can't seek redress.
Once you are fired, you are gone.
I woke up one day, back to the office as a Cocoa board staff, came home. Before I went to bed, I was appointed as a district chief executive. No one contacted me. He appointed me. It was up to me to accept. I accepted and I went to my post. And they are not ordered. The president fired him. Why?
Once
the president decides the law gives him that power to do
exactly.
So but there can still be an issue of fairness.
Fairness on whose part? Fairness on whose part?
The only people are president and fire some of the CEOs and some of the autonomous
agencies. Now, my constituency chairman, I try my president say, "I'll go on my NDD."
Yes.
What I say? Yes. The president without asking you.
Of course,
it is within his right to do that. Yes. But is that fair?
It's fair. It is fair because
it's unfair, but it doesn't break any law.
It's unfair.
I'm sorry to me. Yeah, me say the fairness and unfairness will only come to play when you have the opportunity to seek redress in any competent court of jurisdiction.
I'm using the word fairness in the literal or English sense, not in the legal sense.
In the legal sense.
In the English sense, if you want to talk of fairness, the question I also posed is that, sir, you were appointed ahead of several others. Who to you? If you call your Juma, our party, I'm fully happy. Was that also fair?
How is that unfair?
But let me say a happy birthday to our sister and former colleague here at the Multimedia Group and our very own Ekosiisen Safua Kantimpo, currently in the US of A. And in the Ekosiisen, happy birthday to you. May the Lord continue to bless and guide you. Have a blessed birthday and live to be 94.7 and beyond. From all of us here at the Multimedia Group, especially on Ekosiisen, we say happy birthday to you, Ekosiisen Safua Kantimpo, currently in the US of A. Happy birthday to you.
No, they don't have the power.
They have the power.
It's a free market economy.
Now GBA a certificate of bargaining. You are instructing the acting
because GBA doesn't need to have a bargaining certificate. Nobody. I've heard that again. I don't understand why it's coming.
GBA doesn't need
power. bargaining certificate is to do what? Unions to go for salary negotiations.
The power of effect. Only power of effect. So you are giving instructions.
Nobody. We are officers of the
It's not getting the
kind of traction you should get.
Also, Ghana, we have a problem with pricing.
Yes.
Prices for the most part are sticky.
Yes.
It takes a long time for prices to adjust to changing economic circumstances.
Sure.
And Omuguta for Omukano, me assures Omukano keke, Papa na oti on shop prices on this way.
Also, I feel the
reason why that is because
port charges bar for my it should affect prices of things.
But he said port charges bar for me.
No, once the dollar goes down, the port
they are no longer
most of them
they are no longer indexed to the dollar.
Ose,
Muba is somewhere if you are not we haven't indexed the port charges to dollar BM.
Some of them have come down. Some of the charges have come down. Or more important,
last week.
Obi, I mami fua koto. Mami fua koto wa unia. Mami fua koto. Wa unia ba. Then asama menra o action.
Mami fua koto ne action.
Masa, we need you.